have a seat. Thank you. My name is Nelson Makanda, and I'm the chairman of this selection panel. Okay, I'll repeat. My name is Nelson Makanda, the chair of this selection panel, and allow me to thank you for applying for the position of member of the Commission of IEBC, for which we advertised. And congratulations for being shortlisted for the same, and for that reason you are here today for the interview. I will invite my colleagues here to introduce themselves. Then after that, we will come to you. Madam Linda.
Good morning, Mr. Lemayan.
Good morning.
My name is 𝐍𝐸𝐞𝐬𝐿, and I wish to take this opportunity to welcome you to this interview session.
Thank you.
Bwana Noseli. Have I pronounced right?
Yes.
Okay, karibu. Mimi naitwa Andrew Tanui, mwanachama wa jopo hili la uteuzi. Asante.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Caroline Kituku, a member of the panel. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, Moses.
Morning.
My name is Adam Salo, a member of this selection panel.
Good morning, Moses.
Good morning.
My name is Nicodemus Bore. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Good morning. My name is Fatuma Ali Saman, member of the panel. Please feel welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Noseli.
Good morning.
And karibu sana.
Asante.
My name is 𝐲𝐞𝐚𝐫, and I'm a member of the panel.
Good morning, Moses.
Good morning.
My name is Evans Misati, and I'm a member of this selection panel. We welcome you.
Thank you.
Asante.
So now we come to you, Mr. Noseli, and ask that you introduce yourself. Highlight that in your profile which you think is significant for the role you have applied for. Mention if you have any award and if you're a member of any professional society. Kindly take about 5 minutes to do this. Proceed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chair, and distinguished members of the panel. My name is Moses Lemayan Noseli. I come from Narok County, and I'd like to respond by beginning first with my education, academic qualifications, then professional trainings, and then work experience. And then I'll also talk about what I bring to IEBC. I've worked in the university for 14 years, beginning at Kenyatta University as a tutorial fellow. After that, I got a job at Narok University as an assistant lecturer. Narok University transited to Masai Mara University, and from there I got promoted to be a lecturer. All that time teaching computer science. And then when I was still at the Masai Mara University, I was given the responsibility of being the head of ICT at Masai Mara University. From Masai Mara University, I transited to Huduma Kenya. That's where I currently am as the director of ICT. Just to talk about some bit of achievement that I had at when I began this role of heading ICT at the university. The first time I was given that appointment as the head of ICT Masai Mara University, I began first by looking at the governance documents, the policies, the strategic plans, and I was able to, together with my team, come up with a roadmap on how I'll be able to digitalize the university operations and systems. With that, then I presented the roadmap to management, and because of issues of finances that I had to think outside the box in how I'll be able to do some of these activities that will automate operations of the university. So through the stakeholders, my stakeholders were students and staff, I was able to identify priorities, things that I needed to do fast. I approached Google, and they offered us email for all students and staff for free. And this, I was able to create the first 5,000 emails for students and staff, and train my staff on how to use this facility. They also offered Google storage and Google Meet and all that for free. And for the record, I'm not really marketing the company, but give them credit for what they did. And then we had a problem of connectivity. Students really wanted fast internet. Then I increased the bandwidth to an acceptable bandwidth limit for students to be able to use the facility. And then we had only one computer lab that time. Then I approached international donors, and they were able to donate 400 computers to the university. So we shipped the computers and established 7 labs, 1 general lab for students to do the research, and 4 teaching labs, and 1 computer lab for postgraduate and undergraduate students. And then we had a problem of keeping up with the bandwidth charges. They were quite a strain to the university. So I proposed to introduce a computer fee for to be charged to the students, to be passed to the students. And I was able to defend that in Senate and in Council. So we had a computer fee charged to the students. And therefore, in all the operations that we are doing, we were able to make them sustainable. And because you could see that students really were struggling with queues in different service points, I introduced an ERP that automated all the operations of the university, so that now the students' numbers can be accurate, and also their finances, collection of fees went up. We removed all the queues for students. They could only queue when they're going to the mess to get the food. So when they go to the bank, they pay, it automatically reflects to their portal, because we've integrated with the banks. Chair, with that, during the 5th graduation ceremony, I was honored with Chancellor's Award for outstanding contribution to the university. And from there, then I can talk about professional trainings, because I've had about 20 certificates, as you can see from my CV and the documents I've presented. I can just mention a few. I've trained in, I've done SMC, Senior Management course at the Kenya School of Government. I've done Strategic Leadership Program at the Kenya School of Government. And also, I'm a member of the Oracle Academy. And also, I'm an instructor at Cisco Academy. So Cisco Academy, I'm instructor in Cisco Academy for switching, routing, and wireless. That, Chair, I can say is one of the industry standard when it comes to networking. And also, I've presented some papers in academic conferences. I can mention 2. One of it is predicting heart diseases using data mining, and that's correlated to AI. And also, I've also presented ICT used for political campaign during my time at the university. Now, when I transited to Huduma Kenya, I see this quite resonates with what IEBC does, because at Huduma Kenya, we have branches, 58 branches across the country. And we have different agencies, government agencies, congregated in a single premise. Now, what the public don't know is that Huduma Kenya is largely ICT driven. Somebody will say it's a technology organization delivering government services. But basically, the systems that are working at IEBC, at Huduma Kenya are quite complex. We're using cloud technology. And then what that helps is that irrespective of where the staff are working, they're having same experience, such that if you're working from Lodwar to Turkana or GPO, you're having the same internet connection speed, you're having the same ICT resources, the processors and storage. And so it gives a very standardized experience. So we standardize operations there, and as well as security, because sensitive systems, government systems, secure government systems are actually accessed by the staff who are working at Huduma, and therefore we have to enable security to be quite high. We can talk about running the best security in the world, one of the best securities in the world. Plus we have data centers, and so when the staff at each of these centers connect, they connect to data centers and the servers that are located in the data centers. Now, here, when I joined Huduma Kenya, I was able to do the largest, one of the upgrades since the inception of Huduma Kenya. And also we run a call center, and this call center provide information services to the general public for inquiries. And at the call center, we managed to we managed to communicate. We managed to communicate to the public through various social media platforms, and so we're able to address issues that are of concern that are raised by the members of the public. So, Chair, I'll say that in my experience, I bring ICT skills as well as governance, because I've been able to work on policy documents. When we were at the university and it was being chartered, I was at the secretariat that actually came up with the first policies for the university, about 26 of them. And also leadership, because I've been trained in leadership as well as practice and also management of ICT. Chair, if I get a chance, I'll also tell how I can be able to improve the systems.
Thank you very much. I think you have taken your time. I want to ask Madam Linda to ask you some questions, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Lemayan, what professional experiences do you bring to the IEBC?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. I bring ICT professional skills and experience. I've been licensed as an ICT practitioner by the ICT Authority. And also I have leadership training as well as management training that I've been able to practice over time. And that's what I can respond to that. Thank you very much.
Now, in your work experience and career journey, what experience have you had that has tried and tested your leadership skills? And if there has been, could you likely share with this panel?
Yes, sure. Thank you. I can be able to share one of these that that I've had. There was this time that we were to operationalize a new center. That sounds a bit of a normal duty. But what made it a bit more extraordinary is the time that we were given to be able to do that task. And our CEO, that's the leadership, looked at who can do this, and I was appointed to chair that process. Now, given the fact that we had very short time to operationalize that facility, meant that I had to coordinate very many activities and work with my colleagues to make it work. So this is to bring the staff from the different government agencies, equipping the center with ICT equipment, and making sure that branding is done, and that actually, given the time that the time that was given to us to do this, made it quite a challenge. And there was high-level guests who are coming to do the officiation of that event.
Thank you so much, Lemayan.
Thank you.
I wish you all the very best. Thank
Yeah,
you, Chair.
thank you.
Thank you. I want to invite Madam Carol to ask you some questions. Carol, please.
Thank you, Chair. Moses, let's go to your expertise, technology
Yes.
and ICT in the management of the electoral processes in Kenya. So which, in your understanding, which policies and regulation govern the IBC while it is using technology in the voter registration processes and transmission of the results?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. We have the IEBC Act, and also we have the Electoral Technology Regulation that is used to regulate that. But also the Constitution has chapter Article 86 also directs that. So in particular, in the IBC regulation, election regulation, section 44, it also talks about how the expectation of this technology that's supposed to regulate the operations of voter registration up to the results transmission. And we find that in that process, it heavily relies on technology to be able to conduct these operations. We normally talk about what is really much publicized is about the equipment that are used that are interfaced with the general public, the citizens. But there's also, at the background of it, there is also network connectivity. There is also the data centers, the servers that usually are behind the operations of all those systems.
So the Supreme Court in 2022 presidential petition found or made recommendations to the Commission to make sure that the system that it uses has integrity, is credible, and provide open access for audit of the system and the processes that it undertook. Should you become successful, and given your expertise in ICT, how would you advise the Commission to implement this recommendation of the Supreme Court?
Okay, thank you for that. What I'll say is that during voter registration, we can incorporate other features that will help in the identification of voters, such as facial recognition. We can also have iris and all those features, so that when voters come to be identified, we'll have various mechanisms that can happen. And then once the identification happens, then we have the voting. Here, we can say that when it comes to voting, and increasing transparency in that process, there's provision for electronic voting, but then that can probably be through stakeholder engagement and discussions, see how applicable that can be in the short term or in the long term. When it comes to results transmission, now results transmission happens at the polling center. Now we've seen that it's Form 34A that is normally transmitted to the server that usually is relayed to accessed at Bomas. An improvement on that can be in two ways. We can either decide, through engagement and consultation, we'll see if instead of just having the image being transmitted, we also have text accompanying the image. And it can be either through input by the presiding officer, or an AI image recognition software can be used to pick up the statistics and then transmitted. Why that is important is because it eliminates subsequent errors that can emanate from clerical work during the transmission or the tallying and transmission process. Because when it goes to the constituency, usually what happens, the current setup is that the constituency returning officer is one that checks the image and what is being presented by the presiding officer, and then from there now move that to text, or uses a text application to now generate the statistics. So there's a chance of error happening at that particular point, and also delay. Now, when it happens at the polling station, it can be done for all the election. And then when it goes to the constituency tallying center, verification happens. There's no data entry at that particular point. And then that's the first layer of verification. When it goes to the national tallying center, another verification happens, no data entry, so that we have data entered once at the polling station, but then verified twice subsequently. And with that means then we will reduce the delay in terms of results being arrived at. And also, if we automate the forms, the Form 34A and all the series of the forms, if we automate the B, the C, and D series, then it means they're going to be auto-generated. And therefore, there's not going to be need for somebody to carry the form to the National Tallying Center. And that means we get results within a very short time. Of course, that is based on discussion and stakeholder engagement.
All right, thank you very much. I wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I want to ask Koki to ask you some questions. Koki, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Noseli, I want to follow up on that question, but I would like you to go beyond the use of 𝐾IMS and assume that you have already answered that question. Okay. I would like you to tell this panel and those Kenyans watching you, what other innovative areas, what other innovation in use of technology can be applied in other areas of the electoral cycle? Don't talk about transmission of results, don't talk about registration of voters, and don't talk about use of 𝐾IMS. Now think innovatively of all the other things that are required activities in the electoral cycle that the IEBC does, that you can innovate if you become a member. And you say how that technology can be used and to bring more integrity and credibility to the election itself, the election process itself, and the outcomes of the elections, including the results.
Okay. Yeah.
That is clear.
Yes, that is clear. Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador. We can use modern technologies to be able to improve the electoral process even before the elections begin. One of those is to set up a call center that is operated and running throughout the election cycle. A call center will be equipped with social media tools that we can even be able to do affirmative actions for the youth and being able to reach them, and using also social media interactive tools. Now, how this can happen is that when you have a licensed social media application, usually you can even target a particular region, a particular segment of age group of a particular population, and be able to target the message to this particular group of voters. Also, in the use of AI, we can be able to do what is referred to as sentiment analytics. Sentiment analytics is this. we can be able to scan the social media and find out what are people talking about IEBC. Currently, usually, I mean, what I've seen is that happening is that users of social media usually will go page by page and looking for what people are saying. But with this tool that is called sentiment and analytics, we can be able to see, even gauge the mood of the population, because it scans all the social media platforms and give you a report on what is out there in the public. And not just a report, because that now gives you the opportunity to respond and tailor your response to be able to improve and address issues that are emanating. Because by the time it boils up, usually it gets to be to a level that is not controllable. So we address issues as they arrive, and also we know we can be able to measure the temperatures of the public in terms of what is happening out there. Another application is the use of CCTV in the constituency tallying center. And then by use of CCTV, we'll be able to view from a central location and even do recording of what is happening at the tallying center, because I think 290 constituencies are not quite many, because this service can be either outsourced to a provider, and then we can be able to monitor the constituency of what is happening at each of the constituency tallying center. And we can also have a portal. This portal will be able to share materials that will be educational and also insightful to the public, just to be able to be to know what happens, and also they can respond to, and the IEBC can be able to respond to those issues that can be raised through those educated materials that are presented to them, and also with all this, we'll be able to evaluate the progress of this intervention that we are putting in place.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nusoli. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. I invite FC Pietanu to ask a question, please.
Thank you, Chair. Bwana Lemayan, ICT is also very broad. And within ICT, there are various skills, whether it's system analysis, database administration, system design. So from your training, what is your expertise? Which area of ICT expertise are you bringing on board?
Yeah, thank you for that. My training, academic training, I did masters in information system. I specialized in distributed systems at University of Nairobi, Chiromo campus. That means it's an area of networking, and I'm also an instructor of networks, switching, routing, and wireless. My specialization is in ICT networking. But I actually have a broad range of experience.
Okay.
Yes.
So looking at the governance of IEBC, and IEBC has many other systems, be it financial, HR, procurement. So how does these networking skills help in the governance and ensuring that there is efficiency and effectiveness at IEBC?
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that question. And I will see that in terms of networking, all the infrastructure distributed across the country in the 47 county are connected through networks. These networks are also, the branches are connected to the data center for them to be able to access resources there. Now, also, when it comes to interconnecting between different systems. So, for example, we have the candidate registration management systems. It can be interlinked to the office of the political party, registrar of political party, so that you can be able to fetch data from there. Also, we can have interconnection between the different systems that are there through registration, through tallying, and also through candidate management system. These are consolidation of a network that makes systems to work together. At the back of it is to enable security, because connection happens out in the public and trusted network. So from the field, from different stations, they have to pass through public networks. And these, we consider them to be untrusted network. And so we have to ensure that you have proper security through connection so that results are not intercepted as they're being transmitted, and they're able to talk to each other. These equipments are able to talk to each other.
From your analysis of 2022, and you do remember we kept on watching TV, and we were being shown the screens at Bomas. And at some point, they stopped transmitting. So how different will you be if given an opportunity as a commissioner with ICT background?
Yeah, thank you for that. We'll make an improvement in reducing the delay in the production of results, right from the polling stations to eventual.
First of all, what was the cause, or what were the reasons behind?
Okay.
And how will you address those reasons?
All right, I can answer it this way. When you have human intervention along the processes of, along the work process, human intervention introduces delays, it introduces doubt as to what is happening. And therefore, if we eliminate human intervention along the transmission process, we'll reduce the delay. Now, I give a scenario in which at the polling station, text data is transmitted along with a form. Now, text data can be used for computation. And that means when the presiding officer is taking the ballot box to the constituency, validation is done, no data entry, so time saving is done there. So a lot of clerical work is reduced, and also a possibility of errors. And then also at the National Tallying Center, the same happens. Results are already aggregated because the system can compute, can aggregate. It's just an addition of results. You can be able to see by the time of close of the polling station and the transmission, we'll be able to know the results instantly within a very short time. And as to what you asked, I think the delay was caused by the manual transfer of what is on the hard copy into the soft copy, all right? And digitalization, one of those processes of digitalization is automation, which is converting a hard copy record into electronic format for easier processing and handling, and also reduction of errors in that process.
Thank you. I wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I invite Ms. Hati to ask you some questions. Evans, Ms. Hati, please.
Thanks so much, yeah. Moses, I take you to artificial intelligence, and please mention some of the negatives that AI can do in the electoral processes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. A lot of information out there is necessarily not true. In fact, there's a lot of disinformation that is out there in the internet. So artificial intelligence, in the application of artificial intelligence, we have what is referred to as large language models that is used. these days for ChatGPT, and also Google, they have their own. Now, ChatGPT it uses AI to give you results of queries that you give to it. Now, the authentication of those results is what can come to doubt. You can get unauthenticated information from the use of this technology, and also to counter that, to be able to have accurate information, is that you reduce the knowledge domain to what is really authentic source of information. And therefore, when you build, for example, a chatbot for IEBC, you will not want it to go into the internet and search for information. It might get wrong information. What you do is reduce the scope of knowledge of the knowledge domain so that it gets only authentic data from what is fed into it, because whatever you give is whatever you get from it.
So the specific negative effects to the public,
okay,
maybe mention a few so that Kenyans who are watching will be aware that if you are a commissioner of IEBC, you are able to detect and alert such situations.
One of these negative effects that we get from AI is misinformation or disinformation. We find that a narrative or can be driven towards negativity in what is happening, and therefore this issue of getting
sorry, yes. I want to rephrase my question.
Okay.
During campaign, you are an IEBC commissioner.
Yes.
And some social media campaigns are against other candidates. So as IEBC, what information, using your knowledge, can you use to ensure that that does not happen? Or if it happens, IEBC is able to communicate and avert such.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that question. Social media has opened up the democratic space of what citizens can post out there, and sometimes even without ability to be traced. Of course, they feel that that can happen. We can use technological tools that can be able to detect such kind of information. And when you get that kind of information, we can be able to, through security agencies, to address it, so that we don't have information that is not credible being out there, and so we can only have we can address that issue in that way. Thank you.
As last question, how can we use AI in a positive way to enhance the IEBC work?
Yeah, thank you for that. We can use AI in several ways. One of those is the data that is collected, historical data is collected. We can use AI to be able to tell us, to get us insights, the meaning of, even to be able to do predictions in terms of what needs to be done. Now, I'll give you a practical example. We can use AI to be able to integrate it with Google Maps, so that even citizens, before they go to vote, they can see that there's a queue, so they don't have to go. They wait for the queue to finish and then they can go. And also to tell them about, we can use also AI to tell us about predictions into what we expect in terms of issues around the elections.
Thanks so much, and I wish you all the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Misati. We ask Fatima to ask a question, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Lamayan, following the 2022 presidential election petition, the Supreme Court emphasized on the need for greater observer access and enhanced voter education. how would you strengthen the IEBC engagement with the election observers and the public to promote transparency and reduce procedural errors?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. Observers, they play a critical role in election process because they are the third eye. Their presence usually can deter malpractices during the election process, voting process. Observers, first, they need to be accredited, and also they need to be given, apart from accreditation, they also need to be given the scope of work and also sign. They also need to have agreed parameters in which they can be able to work with. And therefore, issues of voter education should be enhanced. No, voter education should be continuous in all the election process, because voter education will help the citizens when they're going to vote to do it correctly, and also voter education is quite important because it's supposed to be actually quite continuous. Thank you.
Apart from, in the process of enhancing voter education, what are some of the things you would consider?
Yeah, thank you. I will consider the use of technology in voter education because this will enable the use to reach a critical mass of a voting population. This is the youth, because we know 40% of our voters are youth. In using of modern technology, we can be able to do social media campaigns. These are affirmative action to be able to reach these special interest groups. And apart from just social media, we can be able to enhance outreach through community programs. And in situations whereby you find that there are areas where they are far to reach, we can start outreach programs through maybe the 𝐲𝐸, the national government officers, to be able to reach to the areas where they're not accessible or they're not having access to these modern social media tools or technological tools. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
Back to you, Chair.
Thank you. I ask Nicodemus Bore to ask some questions, please.
Thank you, Chairman Lemayan. As noted from your CV, you have very vast knowledge on ICT matters, and technology has been one of the key factors in every election in this country since around 2013. Now, with that in mind, the costs incurred, one of the costs, the factors that drive costs in IEBC is technology. Using your experience, how would you help IEBC in reducing the high costs incurred by maybe the ICT department of IEBC?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that question. We realize that technology comes with cost. And one of those things that we'll want to avoid is to have failure of technology at the polling, during the polling day. And therefore, it is important to have systems that are working. What I can say is that the bull's eye to election credibility is technology. If we get it right, and I think we'll have done the country a good service. In terms of reducing the cost, is that we see what we can be able to use or reuse. We can do an audit, because I know the election technology regulation requires that assessment is done on the technology, so that we see how they are able to be used or reused. Those that are not able to be used, they are replaced, and a new one are gotten. But the biggest expenditure in election necessarily is not technology. It's actually, it goes to the PE. What is paid to staff who are going to conduct the election. And one of the ways you can address this, which was actually recommended, was one of those recommendations that was not taken care of, is to reduce the number of polling stations where we find that the voter turnout is not high. So instead of having 700 per polling station, we can increase that number so that we have fewer staff, election staff out there. And also that means we're going to reduce on the kits that are going to be used and the technology that will be used during the elections.
So you think that technology is not one of the cost-driving factors at IEBC?
I would say technology forms a component of it, and we tend to want to address trust issues with technology. And I think if we are able to justify the use of this technology, then I think it's a price to pay for the country to be able to get a credible election.
Thank you, Lemayan, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. I invite Professor Adam to ask your question.
Lemayan Noseli. I'm just looking at your work experience. I've been working at the Direct ICT at the Ministry of Public Service, Performance and Delivery Management. Has been working at Huduma, Information and Communication Technology. I served at Masai Mara University, head of ICT, assistant lecturer. Have you ever consulted or worked with IEBC?
Yes, Prof. I have. I've worked as a presiding officer at a polling station in Narok East called Naropa Ogila Primary School. I have that.
You didn't think it's important for us to know that?
Sorry, skip my mind.
You have, in answer to question by the panelists, you have answered in nearly graphic details what the problem is, whether it's image, whether it's text, whether it's human intervention. How did you get to know that?
I've been following elections and voting over time, and these things we get it all through the social media. Through the it's in the public domain, and also at the IBC they have a lot of documentation on all this. We're going to do my research.
They have documentations.
They have documentations. Most of this documentation says they do have.
Have they ever involved you in their audit?
No.
Have you seen their post-election audit for 2022?
Yes, I have.
Are these issues you're saying there?
Some of them are not there.
Does it surprise you that they are not there?
The law states that
not
we
the
have
law.
Continuous improvement.
I'm not talking about the law.
Yes.
I'm talking of what you have said here in terms of what needs to be improved. And IEBC does an audit in order to improve its processes. Does it surprise you that the things you have said here is not in that audit?
No, it's not surprising to me.
It doesn't surprise you?
Yes, Prof.
Why if you were to be a commissioner and you did an audit and you didn't include the things you have told us, would it surprise you? Or would you be shocked at yourself that what you are ready to tell the public that is the problem that should be improved is not in your own audit?
Well, Prof, yeah, it will be.
What would you do different if you are to be a commissioner on all those issues that you have explained to us?
Okay, Chair, I'll present it as proposals to be able to improve the electoral process and also the integrity of the election. I'll put it to, if I happen to be one of the commissioners, then I'll front it as proposal, and of course also involve the stakeholders in arriving at some of these decisions, because you cannot unilaterally just come up with issues that are not debated and agreed upon with the rest of the commissioners.
My last question is, you are a commissioner and a powerful politician approaches you to favor him in the delimitation of boundaries. What would be 𝐲𝐸𝐬𝐴N's reaction?
Yeah, thank you for that. I will, as you know, IEBC, you said, is independent, but this independent is like a bird in a cage. The independent is confined to the law. Therefore, I'll stick to the law in executing the mandate that needs to be executed. And over above that, I have character, I have competence and courage to be able to withstand that kind of pressure.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I want to ask Prof to ask the last two questions, please.
In 𝐸𝐸𝐴N, we usually ask high school questions. We try as much to try and balance between what is generally your area and the rest. So my first question, you being an IT within the communication arena, who is the current chairperson of the Communication Authority of Kenya, and when was that individual appointed?
When he was appointed?
First, who is it? And when did they take office?
Yeah, Andrew. Andrew. Can't remember the other name. In 2024.
My second question is in the area of history and politics. Which two African nations fought in the 1977 Ogaden War?
Ghana and Congo.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, 𝐸𝐸𝐿. We've learned a lot from your engagement, particularly in the subject area of ICT. I'm gratified with your final comments of you having character, courage, and competence. Do you have any other comment to make?
Chair, I want to thank the selection panel for shortlisting me and inviting me for this interview. I'm very grateful for that. And I wish you the best as you continue the rest of the interviews. Thank you.
Thank you. We have come to the end of our interview. The notebook and the pen are yours. You can also use the water. There's a gentleman who will give you your certificates as you exit. blessings to you and wish you well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Asante. Do you need a break? Okay, fine. A break it is. We'll be back at 11:10. So media, please just allow us some quick 10 minutes. We finish up and then we can take the break. Thank you, please.